Are we live?
I think we might be. Are we live, Duncan?
Hello, are we live? We're live.
We are live. Oh my God. Is that the interwebs?
Where are you? You're at home, Paul. You're at home. You're in the studio, Jono.
I am.
Lucky man, living next door. So I think the idea is that we're going to get some questions from the Skype verse. It's not as good as Twitter verse, is it? And hopefully we should get some questions soon. Are we getting any questions? Does anybody want
very silent right now?
Yeah, is the chat actually visible to all of you lot online as well?
Duncan is typing.
Oh yeah.
How are you feeling today, Paul?
Woke up with pretty hefty chest pains after trying some exercise yesterday, so I'm just having to be humble about my body and just accept that it's going to take some time to recover from this thing. I thought I was feeling so good that I went for some walks and did some push-ups and light exercise, but I think I need to start with the light yoga first.
Sounds very sensible. Mm-hmm. Are you in the studio a lot, Johnny? You're going outside as well, I hope.
Just getting a bit of a studio tan here off the lights, and thought I'd don the summer shirt because it was really sunny outside. But yeah, no, I did go for a jog. I was saying to you guys just before we went live, and I went for a jog today, avoiding lots of people and kind of getting slightly annoyed at people who were sat around blocking entrances to paths and things, thinking, you're supposed to only be out at the moment if you're exercising. So that's the only reason I go out, really, is to move.
The park opposite me is always quite busy, but people are, for the most part, staying at least 2 meters apart. I don't see any harm if somebody's out there sitting with their flatmate, girlfriend, wife, whatever, and they're 20 meters away from somebody else. I think that's fine, really, personally. But
and I guess now that we're kind of coming into like a month of this kind of lockdown, at least here in the UK, it can be a little bit difficult to sometimes remember why we're all doing this. And I was just looking into Sweden versus Finland, both countries culturally very similar. Sweden has a very relaxed attitude. They don't really have any rules apart from, no large gatherings, but they're basically wanting to keep things going as they were, whereas Finland is very strict. And the death rate per capita is 10 times higher in Sweden than it is in Finland. So it just shows that here in the UK, I think I don't know the statistics, but maybe if 6,000 people have died so far, if those statistics from Sweden and Finland are anything to go by, we would so far be counting about 60,000 dead here in the UK. So we are really all saving lives, and it is a serious thing. I didn't initially think so, but it really is.
No, it is. John, what have you been working on?
I've just been playing with Jupiter 8 actually, but making some nice squidgy sounds. But it's been working on a couple of tracks. Yeah, bits and pieces. Yeah, how about you?
Just working on Angina Beats Volume 15, which is actually resulted in me needing to get a new computer because I was sort of running a bit low on hard drive, and there's so many tracks vying for position on it, and so many new versions and new edits and new mixes coming in all the time that my computer's just fallen over. But it's had a good run. I've had it since 2013, I think, and it's still pretty quick, but it's only got a 1 terabyte drive, and that's not enough really anymore. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm actually, it's obviously a dreadful circumstances that's brought us to this reality, but I think my body does appreciate being at home and sleeping at regular times and eating at regular times, which we don't normally get that luxury. And,
like the longest period of no jet lag, right?
yeah, exactly.
Also,
so I'm quite enjoying it, especially with the weather being so nice in the UK. I mean, I saw some pictures of Canada where it's still snowing and everything. Obviously, everybody hasn't got it the same as us, so I do feel a bit lucky in that way. But personally, I'm quite enjoying the circumstances, but not enjoying why we're experiencing them.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying all the cooking and stuff because I sort of got out of the habit of cooking, and then when you stay home, you end up cooking a lot more. So that's been fun as well. But studio-wise, we've also got the remix of All In coming up, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
I think that's coming out next week. I don't know. Maybe the management can type in our chat window and let us know how to plug that.
Monday week.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, that's been worked on here. And what else have we got coming up? Parvo, do you want
to? Well, I've been obviously, literally just been working on getting better from this coronavirus, and that seems to be going well. I've been listening to a lot of non-electronic music, trying to really expand my mind with good rap, and watched obviously Tiger King, which was incredible. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. And what I was doing here today, I'm learning how to navigate at sea, because I'm thinking I might as well get myself trained up so that I can hire a boat and go sailing one day without needing a skipper, because sailing is one of my old loves.
That would be awesome.
I was reading something about people on boats, using them as kind of safe havens at the moment.
But my cousin and his family are actually sailing around the world at the moment. They've got 3 kids on the boat and everything, and they've been doing it for several years already. But for a lot of people, the problem is that they still need supplies, and it's getting harder and harder to get supplies, and you do need to still go through customs and such when you enter into countries. But obviously a lot of countries are on lockdown, so it is also very difficult for people on boats.
There was a question there about how we collaborate while we're separated. I don't think we figured that out yet, have we?
With
John sent me a track the other day, which as soon as I get finished with volume 15, I'm going to be trying to do some writing on that. But we haven't really got to that point yet, have we?
No.
Yeah, and I guess most of our projects are on Dropbox, and Andrew, who's been working on a lot of our music with us, is obviously in New York. So maybe that is, continuing that same way of collaboration is the way forward. Good that we have all this technology that is possible.
Oh, another question's come in. And
guys
going to DJ any live stream sets?
Yeah, we are. I'm waiting on a cable. That's what I need. Still waiting on an Ethernet cable, and then I think I should be good to go. So exactly what I'm going to play and when, I don't know yet. There seems to be already a very busy Anjuna schedule, and we don't really want to cut across anybody's pre-existing time, so we're going to have to nudge our way in as we're a bit late to the party, but definitely would like to do that at some point. Are you going to have a go, Jono?
Yeah, I'll have a go. I'm just kind of working on finishing some bits off in the studio mainly at the moment, so I'm kind of focused on that. But once that's done, I'll have to set something up down here and see what we can do.
How are we filling our time?
That's not hard.
No, I mean, to be honest,
I feel like I'm super busy. I don't know about you.
With the stuff, I'm busier than ever. I mean, obviously, I don't have an hour's commute to the studio each way, so I think there's more working hours in the day. But between volume 15 and the other things, and getting ready for doing this stream, which has been an education in terms of technology and stuff for me, and waiting for bits of stuff to arrive. I'm finding I'm not really apart from an hour of exercise a day. I've got a new app which my personal trainer, who I can't see in real life, has given me with workouts on. So I was getting shouted at by my mobile phone this morning. That was quite good. I'm not
Are they
by
live
himself with
detecting
his
you
boots
while
on.
you're exercising, or is it a particular app? Did you say?
It's an app that he can basically program a workout a bit like the one that I used to do when I was standing in front of him in real life in a sweaty gym. But the computer puts it all together. The app puts it all together. There's a little video to show you how to do a push-up and stuff like that. And then the computer voice tells you when to start, when to stop. So it's quite good actually. I'll send it to you after the chat. What music have you been listening to, Parth, that's not electronic?
Well, I've been absolutely loving Mac Miller. It's been interesting, like when I've been looking at some of these artists that have done great work and I never knew about them, and then you see incredible interviews, you get to understand them as people, and then you hear their songs. He's been one person that I really, really appreciated his output. Obviously, he's sadly no longer with us. Another artist that I've been just like giggling about is Doja Cat, who's yet another crazy personality that's just like really fun to watch online. So I've been like really just finding these very entertaining artists, and obviously Joe Exotic from Tiger King. You know, I'm a huge fan of his musical output.
Okay. Why are we remixing All In? I think because it's got a nice message. The song has it's not a full-on song. The track has a really nice message. I think it's a really uplifting piece of music, and I think it's very relevant for now because if you think about, I mean, I was chatting with someone the other day. Some of the terrible, unfortunately, things that happen in the world, often they're not on your doorstep. You know, you see it on the news. You see a war somewhere. You see people dying, and you know, this virus basically affects everyone and anyone, and I feel like the simple message of that track embodies that really, because we are all in it together.
Another question, please, Duncan. Yeah. I think in the context of what's going on, it maybe doesn't feel as strange as you might think. It's very, very hard to get away from what's happening in the world. And in the context of that, the idea of us not doing big shows for a while feels kind of not insignificant, because it's not insignificant. It's clearly made a big change to our working life, but it feels entirely appropriate. Sorry, they can't see the chat box.
So the question was, do you guys feel different not playing large shows for the foreseeable future?
Yeah.
In terms of what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so yeah, it does feel. I mean, obviously, it's a huge part of our business for us to go out and play shows, and we miss miss those shows. I do find the new advent of streaming shows a very interesting one. I've very much enjoyed watching Dave Dresden doing his Club Quarantine, which has gone from nothing to this really neat, very discreet brand, and actually really enjoyed some of the music he's playing, because he's playing for so long, and it's obviously not a Gabriel and Dresden show necessarily that he's performing. So he's kind of digging into his DJ skills, and I have to say I was always a big fan of him as a DJ, but certainly more so seeing the streams that he's done. He manages to play for a long time, and still make it all sound like it belongs to Gabriel and Dresden, even though hardly any of it does. So I think that's a new innovation, which I think probably won't go away when we get back to normal times.
But I have to say, like, having watched some of the streams, I really do miss actually just being surrounded by people. Like, there's something really amazing being in a group, listening to music together, and physically being in the same space. Especially that today's world is so, internet connected. I've always felt like that is such an important part of everything that we do, getting people together. And for me, I'm realizing that it is a really, really big part of the enjoyment that I get out of what we do is to just go and party with people. And I just can't wait for this to be over so we can get back on the road. Somebody was asking about these Epic headphones. These are Biodynamic DT 1990 Pro that actually Tero Visma recommended for me a couple of years back, and I've just found them incredibly comfortable and also good for listening to and making music on. You got the sense.
Right on. He's recommended them to me as well. Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, we've got another question here. How do you stay inspired to create in lockdown? Well, I think, I mean, from my perspective, you know, there's still other music is a big inspiration, but also emotions, you know, feelings and thoughts. So those things don't go away in lockdown. I think if anything, the sort of pressure of lockdown might be able to create more inspiration in some ways because there's less distractions, I would say. How about you guys?
I found it very, very. I went for a kind of songwriting walk the other day, which, you know, listening to some music and just seeing what comes in my head. For me personally, at this point, it's very difficult to think about anything else than what's going on. It's so overwhelming, and I don't feel like I want to write a song about it. I think if I did that right now, you know, where it's still so new, it would be a little try. But some people have done that. I know Michael Stipe, who's a fantastic lyricist and songwriter, has written a song with one of the guys from The National, which I think is the best thing he's done since he left REM. That's a single that's coming out soon. And he, again, like he manages to, he make it. It's a song about now, but it's a song about any time as well. And so, you know, I admire the fact that he's got that ability. I've not really found it. I haven't managed to find a way of looking at it that makes sense to me yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, I finally had some energy to tune my piano. So, like, for me, I started by writing a song that only so far has one poignant line called "Stay the fuck home." But maybe we can expand on that a little later. Somebody here is like, are you guys okay? How are you handling staying sane? And any advice for the rest of us? I'm finding this really difficult. I haven't had any human contact for 4 weeks. I'm going a bit crazy. I'm sure many other people are finding it difficult too. I'm not quite sure how much longer I can take it here. Maybe I'll go to Finland, have a change of location. Maybe it's going to help me. But I haven't cracked this yet. So if anybody knows and has some good tips for me and for others, do post them on our socials and maybe we can share them.
Yeah, I think it's really hard at the moment because, I mean, this is just such a big change for everybody. So from my perspective, like, you know, going and exercising, I mean, I know that, like, we're supposed to stay home, but in the UK, I don't know how it is in other countries, of course, because there's different rules. In the UK, we're allowed to go out and exercise, so that is absolutely key. I noticed that the days that I missed exercise, I was getting a bit mad and getting a bit tense because you've got to let off that steam. I think in the UK, it's good to take advantage of the fact that they allow that at the moment. Hopefully, don't use it. I mean, as I was saying earlier, what I meant, Tony, was that, you know, people sitting in the entrances of parks where you need to get in and out and stuff like that. There's a certain degree of, you know.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, you need to kind of be aware of that stuff when people are going for a jog or whatever. But I think exercise and also diet. I mean, I'm pretty obsessive with my diet in terms of making sure I eat vegetables every day. I mean, I don't know how much that affects your mental health, but I'm sure it helps. You know. I think it's having an outlet for all the stuff that we're feeling right now. You know, musically, that could be an outlet. Or if you're not creative, for example, maybe you can try doing something creative, because if emotion and stress gets stored in the body, that can be really destructive. So I think, yeah, my way of dealing with it would be, you know, pop down and play the piano here. for example, or go out for a walk or a run, just to make sure I let out steam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been going out my bike, which has been really interesting because the whole London feels so different. It's been actually quite enjoyable. With a bike, you can get to go a bit further, explore some of the other parts not near where I live. So
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see it. It's just, it's a very unique time, and I'm just glad that I'm at this point still sane and still able to handle it. I'm trying to exercise, as you said, eat healthily. Obviously, getting much better sleep than we normally get when we're on the road. So, in some ways, it's been a blessing in disguise for us.
Yeah, I wear this Oura ring, and it tracks my sleep, and it's because it says I'm getting the best sleep I've had in my numbers are like sky high.
I've been obviously trying to do some breath work, pranayama, and also chatting with a lot of really amazing yogis and taking a bit of wisdom from that world. One of the things that we've also been working on is that Elena Brower has been making some new flow state meditations that we're hoping to put online that are going to be great. And I know Chao Kei has done them in Chinese as well for us, and we have them in a couple of different other languages happening. So that's going to be really cool.
Is there new music to go with it?
We're actually using music from Flow State, the album, but messaging is very poignant and about what people are going through right now.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I meditate, and also, just sitting for silently and concentrating on breath can really help. But apparently, the magic number, according to science, is 23 minutes. So you probably need to do around 20 minutes of that a day to get the actual true benefits of meditation.
Yeah, I do like a 20 to 25 minute meditation each morning before I wake up. I mean, before I wake up, before breakfast. But it is actually I've actually found that the days that I didn't do it were not as good as the days that I did it. So then I've been just trying to stick with it.
And it's always good to. I mean, I remember watching Groundhog Day and thinking probably the best thing that he did with his recurring days was learn to play the piano. And I don't know how many days he actually did till he could play, but learn to play an instrument if you've always wanted to do that. Learn to play the guitar. Learn to play. It's maybe difficult if you haven't got a piano at home, but certainly guitar maybe. Make constructive use of the time if you're at home, stuck at home.
Yeah. And one of the things that was going on, that for me being ill and watching the news at the same time, it's really scary. Like, I think for anybody going through coronavirus right now, or even just having an influenza or cold, it's terrifying right now, especially when you're seeing all these statistics online. So I actually realized that I needed to watch the news a bit less, look a little bit less into the detail of things, because it wasn't really helping me to feel less scared. And it might be a good thing to think, what input do you put in? You think of what kind of food you eat, what kind of media do you feed your mind with is equally important, I think.
Definitely. I think, there's actually a question here basically asking, are you guys reading the news regularly or trying to regulate media intake? And I completely agree with Pavo. It's like a mental food diet. I think of it as like mental fitness. And if you're feeding yourself the wrong mental food, so I mean, I allow myself to watch the daily news conference, which the government do, and I try not to watch too much else, and I try to only read coronavirus stuff on BBC News just because. Yeah, I just don't want to be like worrying about it all the time. But yeah, I do slip and look occasionally, but try not to.
So what are you missing most of all right now, Jono?
Me, just sort of like the feeling of being able to go outside without having to avoid people, because I quite like people overall. It's just like, it's that feeling of, it's like some kind of bad movie. You have to avoid everybody, and so yeah, and I mean, from that, I suppose, yeah, it would be nice to do a gig again with a crowd of people at some point. But just the interaction with people and my friends and family, seeing you guys.
Yeah, I can't wait to do a proper gig.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I mean, it will be a massive release, I think, for society when this happens, just generally.
Yeah.
What I miss the most right now is expressions of physical love. A hug, maybe.
Oh,
Cuddle, maybe some sex. I've been here for 4 weeks on my own. It's not good.
Or sending you a virtual hug. I think we've got to wrap it up now.
Yeah, we're about to go.
To a radio show. What have you got on the show tonight, Johnny?
Definitely. Oh god, now you put me on the spot. I put the track list here just in case that question was asked because I've forgotten. We've got a guest mix from Dosum. We've got a great flashback this week. Let me skim through. Record of the week. Record of the week
last week.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it all, but it has been online.
Right. Well, I look forward to. We're going to do the chat thing again.
We are. I think we're going to go live on YouTube. We are already on YouTube, but we're going to go live again on YouTube, but in text form, I believe.
Okay, great.
See you there.
I look forward to it.